What's up everybody, and welcome to Cringing at My Old Beats Part 2. The last video did pretty well, so I'm looking to make yet another. I've still got plenty of old beats to go through, and yeah, let's get right into it. Subscribe. Alright, starting right where we left off, this is the next beat. It's called Joji 2. Right off the bat, there's a lot of background noise in there. This beat sounds like it was made in a microwave. I had just figured out how to put things in reverse. The clicking is still in there, the clicking that I talked about last video. So I still haven't figured that one out yet in this beat. Very mellow so far. I think I had a similar problem with another beat that I covered in the last video, but the snare has too much tonality and it's not hitting the right pitches, to me at least. Okay, so that was a weird little roll there. It sounds like I figured out triplets though, so that's good. It's a good sign. We're moving forward. Again, the bass is just really weird. It won't resolve on a specific note. The little roll was kind of funny. Okay, it's the same stuff, just more measures. I thought it got a little stale by now. Some element should have been switched out. Okay. So now it went more to just a pretty normal beat for what I would make during that time. All that air is still in there though, and I don't know why. I think what I did, here I'll pull it up, pretty sure what I did is I went to effects, and this was on the master actually. I went to effects, and I would just scroll through all these effects having no idea what they did, and I probably stumbled upon this. Whoa, this thing, which would let you make white noise. But yeah, and I probably was just messing around with that, and I just wound up leaving it in the beat, so yeah. Overall, it's very mellow. That Big Crush snare isn't in there anymore, which I like. I like that I took it out. The hats are really panned, I think, just left, right, left, right, left, right, constantly. It's interesting, for sure. I don't know if it totally works, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, and then for the final section of the beat, I brought that snare back in, which I don't like. And then it's pretty much done. Okay, that one was decent. What was I rating my beats on last time? Was it out of 5? I think I was ranking the beats out of 10. So this one I would give probably a 4 out of 10. Maybe a 3, honestly. It's just the sound selection ain't that great. Moving on to Joji 3. Now I remember I was sitting in my parents' bedroom and I made this one, if this is the one I'm thinking of. I made this one and I'm like, I made it. Gonna get rich off this, you know? It's just so dark and brooding and so much mood into it. You know, and I actually had some strange vision for this one. I thought it encapsulated like a dystopian house party, and I think it had something to do with The Purge, but I had like this idea in my head for the song. People outside of some rundown bando. They got fires lit in barrels, and everybody's got masks on. Weird. But yeah, does it live up to the hype? Let's see. The answer is no, it does not live up to the hype. The hype was pretty big, to be fair. But you've got a piano sample, and then you've got a stock plug-in electric piano. And the piano sample is just too far down there. You can't even really hear the note that well. And it just makes some really muddy bass noises, and I don't think it contributes a lot to the beat. The percussion is fine. You know, it's minimalistic and just kind of a slow marching on. Okay, we added a new snare right there, and I don't know how I feel about that one. It just doesn't really jive with the surrounding elements. There's a good lead-in that I have in the back from section to section that's just turned down way too quiet. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's just the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And that would be good if I turned it up a bit louder, and in turn I could turn down the extra snare that I added significantly. The hats are too busy, they're a little bit too loud, they're just kind of jackhammering your ears again, like I talked about in the last video. Oh, those aren't even real triplets. Those are 3-3-2, which is like pseudo triplets. Yeah, they're just getting too busy. It's clipping. Hey, you can actually kind of hear the tonality of the piano there. A lot going on in the right ear. I do kind of like how the hi-hats keep changing grooves. I think it could have been done better, but hey. rocking with it. Alright, it's a little ugly, but it's got some good ideas. I would say, let's take the last one, let's take Joji 2 and put that one at a 3, and let's put this one at a 4, because I do like some of the ideas. The hi-hats were really the main focus of this. In theory, the 2 pianos that were going on here added a decent template, and the hi-hats just kind of got to switch up the groove 2 or 3 times. And yeah, it was decent. 4 out of 5. I have no new complaints that I haven't already said. SB, so this is going to be like kind of similar to Night Lavelle, very underground inspired. Heavy 808s. I think I got the Young Chop kit for this. When talking about the kits that I have, there's the stock sounds, which you can hear in a few of these, like Joji 3, that was a stock sounds beat. And then you've got the Young Chop kit. I figured out how to get drum kits, but I only got one kit for like the longest time, and it was just the Young Chop kit, which I think I referred to as the Chief Cave kit in the last video by accident. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just a Young Chop beat, and let's give it a listen. Alright, just to talk about that melody that it's leading off with. A lot of half steps in there, very underground adjacent. You know, this is like 2018 probably, so yeah, it lines up pretty well. Does the sound work? Not really. Well, I'll take that back, I'm being too harsh. It's good. It fills that ambient space, it creates room, something to work around, but you can kind of hear through it a little bit. It's just another one of those electric piano presets. The hats are loud, but the 808 is pretty cool. I wanted to let it actually play a little bit there because I was kind of vibing with it. You know, this actually ain't that bad. It's kind of got a groove to it. You can still hear the clicking is going on and the hats are still too loud. But this one you can definitely tell there's a real feel to it. And it's executed, I think, a lot better than the last few beats. Also, you can hear the sliding 808, the little bam bam. By the way, you might not hear the bass stuff going on too much if you're watching on a phone or a TV. Just know that it's in there. Trust me. And yeah, the hi-hats aren't as obnoxiously loud. I also like the sound selection for the hat this time. The reason I focus so much on the hi-hats when I'm going through these old beats is because that's what I did back then. I focused a lot on the hi-hats. And I still do, but maybe just not in the same way. Clipping is pretty hard there. You can tell I was really kind of starting to get into my lane with the percussion. Hats are a bit loud there, though. Alright, there you go. That's SB. Is it good? Yeah. I actually like it quite a bit. I'd say this one's a 6 out of 10. It's not my best work. I actually think the one that's coming up right after this one was a lot better. But yeah, it flows really nice. It kind of creates a bit of a textural environment, if that makes any sense, which is something I struggled with doing early on. And yeah, 6 out of 10. Let's keep... Alright, the hats are loud. Everything honestly is a little bit loud. I used to have some clipping issues. I think it might have had something to do with the version of lmms I was using. That snare is too loud. But besides that, I mean, the stock presets are working really well here. This is probably one of my best, like, Young Chop only beats for the drum kits wise. There's reverb on everything, which is a super sloppy thing to do. I have 100 beats where that didn't work well, you know, but for some reason, it tended to work here. There's even reverb on the 808. That's like a huge no-no in producing. And yet, it still holds together. I think one of my favorite parts about this beat is the little bloop perk. That thing right there. See, I even had a beautiful outro. That was more sad than beautiful. But hey, still pretty good, I think. I'll put this one at a 7 out of 10, just because of my earlier beats. You know, this is probably almost as good as it's going to get, I'd say. So, quick recap. Hats, too loud. Snares, too loud. Everything, a little bit too loud. Could be used to turn down a little bit. And too much reverb. But instrumentation and uniqueness, I'd say really good. The hats being pitched down the way they are kind of really helps to get it into this, like, trudging mode, you know? Which works really good for a sadder kind of beat that this is. It's good. Swag. Moving on, we have one that is not so swag. It's called Latin Beat. Can you guess what this one sounds like? Okay, so that's a stock lmms sound. Let's see if I can find it. There it is, Latin Guitar 02.ogg. So it's an lmms stock sound. And I didn't even loop it really well, but this is a young chop kit. So you're barely even going to hear that in a few seconds. It's going to be all hats. It's just painfully mediocre, you know, as far as trap beats go. If you're a trap producer, you probably know, like, how I feel about this. Somebody who doesn't make music would hear this and they go, wow, you made that? But somebody who does make music would hear that and they would go, yep, that's a piece of music, but not much else. I care a lot about innovation, so if I use samples, I want to use them in creative ways. I don't really think this is a super creative way to use a sample. Sure, I pitched it up, but overall, the sample is still managing to carry me. So yeah, it's pretty rough. Boy, I figured out how to do rolls, and I decided to do a roll with the crash cymbal. Cool. That's it. It just ends abruptly. So yeah, there you go. That's Latin Beat. I give it a 3 out of 10. It kind of sucks. Moving on, we have Chill Boy. Apparently the bass boosted edition, because whatever happened to the original? Really subtle drums here. I can't even really complain about the hats. Very mellow, ethereal, lifting. Insert buzzword salad here. I like it though. You know, this type of melody, I feel like it could create the same sense of space even without the reverb, you know. This is one of those few times where I actually created something that can stand on its own musically. I think that's cool. If you're listening on something that can't play bass, you're missing like half the beat, by the way. But yeah, that electric guitar, even though it's just a stock preset, it works. Cool. I feel like because I'm criticizing the beats that suck so heavily, I kind of have the right to give myself a little golden sticker when I do something pretty well, and this is one of those instances where I'm taking the golden sticker. Good job, 14-year-old me. It's funny because I would have a few runs in there where the clipping wouldn't get in there, just out of sheer luck, because I still had the clicking sound issue for this beat, you can tell. That little alien sound effect is so cool, the little wow, 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 wow. Yeah, overall, I like this one a lot. I'm gonna give this I'll give this an 8 out of 10, and I'll move another one up to an 8 out of 10 too, just because I feel like they're probably some of the better stuff that we're gonna get from this series. Yeah, I like it. Moving on, we have I'm a Starboy. This comes from me only having ever heard the censored version of Starboy by The Weeknd up until that point, so I actually thought that that was the lyric. I'm a Starboy. Loud snare. Listen, as an 808 connoisseur, this kind of sucks. The 808 is out of key. It doesn't live up to the suspense that was built around it. Ironically enough, the only good thing going for this beat right now is probably the hi-hats. It's just so weak. I don't know why I tried so hard to make the bass painting thing work. It really just didn't, in my opinion. That's a decent transition. That part was solid. I can kind of bop my head to it. And then we have an outro with just the drums and the 808 going. It's weak. It's really weak, actually. There's a little bit of head bopping in there, but it doesn't make up for the lack of quality. I'd give it a 2 out of 10. Clicking, still there. Drums, pretty rough. 808, out of tune. Instrumentals, they're just all bad presets. Like, I didn't choose good presets for this one. The only good thing this one had to offer is that one section where it kind of flowed decently. Moving on, J. Cole. I don't really listen to J. Cole anymore, but I used to, so I'm curious to know how well this represents J. Cole's sound, and I'm willing to bet that it is not very well. Never mind, that sounds pretty good. Never mind, it doesn't sound very good. At least the percussion is a bit more cohesive this time, if that makes any sense. It kind of fits together a bit better. That lead sound was just way too quiet. Alright, and then we bring in 16th note hats. I don't know, it's rough. The pad sounds good, but the rest of it, not really. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Because we got better stuff than that. Alright, last beat for this video. Churchy. You know, from what I remember, this was inspired by that ethereal, just church feeling, like, woo, we are ascending. And I remember this having a lot of clock noises in it because of the EXO Tour Life clocks. Or actually, I think it was a Minecraft door sound effect. But I always thought it was a clock. Oh boy, the clock noises are louder than the whole beat. Pretty full sounding. Again, a little bit loud. I remember there being different drums here. Alright, it was decent. 5 out of 10. Although I do think that's my first beat that was actually in 6/4 times, so yeah, I think that's how you would count that. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the chords are nice, but it's just so quiet, and there's not a lot of color to the sounds, if that makes sense. Nothing really jumps out with the way that I used to mix this stuff. That's why now when I use the stock presets, I always put something on them. Like, I'll add lo-fi, I'll add saturation, something to give it a bit of color, because these sounds fade into the background so easily. And if you want to lead, you gotta do something to it. Unless you choose one of my favorite sounds, huge gritty bass. Which I'm sure you'll hear plenty of in one of my next videos, because I used to use this thing a lot. But yeah, I've been recording for a good while, so I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I think I covered some pretty good beats. I actually covered more than last time, but I might have gone a little bit less in depth. So yeah, give me some feedback in the comments, subscribe, and thank you all for watching. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.